Well, that was a flash. My goodness. Is that a Polaroid? Whoa. Taking us back. Okay. I think, is the mic okay? Yeah? Okay. All right, everybody. Happy Monday and good afternoon to everyone. Hope everyone got some rest after last night's Super Bowl. The president was able to catch some of the game, and on his behalf, I want to extend a big congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs on their third Super Bowl win in just 5 seasons, and also congratulations to all the Swifties out there. The president looks forward to welcoming them back once again to the White House to celebrate their latest victory. As you know, it is a White House tradition. And so without ado, don't have anything much more. I know you guys are excited about that. We have the Admiral here, my colleague, John Kirby, who is here to discuss the visit of King Abdullah of Jordan and the latest on the Israeli hostages who were freed in Rafah, and also the Libido Corridor Private Sector Investment Forum. Admiral?
Good afternoon, everybody. As you know, the President is hosting King Abdullah here at the White House this afternoon. It's the 75th year of diplomatic relations between Jordan and the United States, and this meeting will help further strengthen our enduring bilateral relationship. During the meeting, President Biden and the King will discuss the ongoing situation in Gaza, of course, and efforts to help produce an enduring end to this conflict. They'll also discuss increasing humanitarian assistance into Gaza and a vision for a durable peace to include the viability of a two-state solution with Israel's security guaranteed. Now, before we get into questions, I just want to express how pleased we are to hear the news of 2 Israeli hostages freed last night by Israeli Defense Forces in Rafah. After 128 days, Fernando Simon Marion and Louis Har are now reunited with their families where they belong. That's where all the hostages belong, quite frankly. And so President Biden and his entire team is going to continue to work around the clock to ensure and to secure their release. We will spare no effort to do so, and that includes capitalizing on recent progress in negotiations with our counterparts in the region, and those negotiations are ongoing. Now, I've also seen reports that civilians were killed over the weekend in Rafah due to Israeli operations. I can't confirm those reports, but as we have said many times, the proper number of civilian casualties is 0. We don't want to see a single innocent civilian death, Israeli or Palestinian. But let me be clear, there can be no enduring end to this crisis until Hamas releases the men and women that they are holding hostage, all of them. Their release and a prolonged humanitarian pause is also essential for bringing critical relief to the innocent people of Gaza, who have absolutely nothing to do with the underlying conflict. And this remains our paramount objective. Now, as Karine teased, just a real quick note on Africa. Last Thursday, the United States, the government of Zambia, and the Africa Finance Corporation convened the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment Libido Corridor Private Sector Investor Forum. Tried to say that 10 times. In Lusaka, Zambia. This was the first PGI investor forum held outside of the United States, bringing together more than 250 business and government leaders. With over $1 billion in U.S. and G7 financing, the corridor will ultimately connect Africans from western Angola to Tanzania and the Indian Ocean through rural bridges, upgraded 4G and 5G digital connectivity, increases in solar power, investing in agribusiness and food security, and the biggest rail investment in Africa in U.S. history. So very exciting. We're very, very pleased to be able to move this forward, this development project. And it's exciting, and we'll keep you posted. With that, we'll take some questions.
Thanks, John. First up, congratulations are in order, I believe.
Thanks.
The President, yesterday's conversation with Prime Minister Netanyahu reiterated the U.S. opposition to expanded operations inside Rafah to root out Hamas's remaining battalions there. In your outline a few seconds ago about what the end stage Hamas's release the remaining hostages to end the conflict, does the U.S. believe that Hamas can remain in Rafah? Is that an acceptable end game of, how are the Israelis, if they can't go into Rafah to remove Hamas, how are they supposed to get rid of Hamas from Gaza, which the U.S. has said is their end goal here?
Oh, we never said that they can't go into Rafah to remove Hamas. Hamas remains a viable threat to the Israeli people, and the Israelis and the IDF absolutely are going to continue operations against their leadership and their infrastructure, as they should. We don't want to see another October 7th. What we said is we don't believe that it's advisable to go in a major way in Rafah without a proper, executable, effective, and credible plan for the safety of the more than 1 million Palestinians that are taking refuge in Rafah. They've left the north, and they certainly went south out of Khan Yunis to try to get out of the fighting. So Israel has an obligation to make sure that they can protect them.
And related to the ceasefire hostage deal talks, yesterday a senior administration official says that a framework was nearly reached, but there were gaps remaining. I was hoping you can provide some clarification on what the remaining gaps are and on which side of the conflict those gaps are.
I'm sure you can understand. I'm not going to get into the details of the negotiations. We do believe, as I've said before, that there has been constructive progress towards trying to get a deal in place for an extended pause and getting all the hostages out. But it's not done, and nothing is really negotiated until everything is negotiated, and those conversations are ongoing now, and it would be really irresponsible for me to get into the details of it.
And just lastly for me, you had said the U.S. response to the killing of the 3 American service members in Jordan would be phased over some time, a few days. Is it safe to say that the U.S. response at this point is concluded, or is it still ongoing?
You'd have to wait and see.